Hi everyone, it's Marie here from Skeins, and I don't know what it's like at your place. First day of the school holidays. Yes, which is why I'm here. School holidays. Ugh. If you've got little ones home for the school holidays, my sympathy is with you, and I don't know what it's like at your place, but it has been rather gloomy, rather grey, absolutely awful here this morning. So they have been all cooped up inside and just feeling rather miserable. That's okay, because I'm here to brighten up your day. That's what I do. And I've got lots and lots and lots to talk about. And some of these actually might be quite good for the school holidays. But lots of things sort of going on, just all kind of converged and happened at once this week. So I thought, oh, well, I'll jump on and let you know what's happening. First things first, if you're not over on the Speakeasy and you're not part of the Knit Along or Crochet Along, which has a theme of something beginning with C, you do need to do that. You need to jump over, join up. I'll make sure I pop the link for the Speakeasy in the comments. And do join up the Speakeasy. It is so much fun. Everyone is really, really getting behind the theme and coming up with so many amazing ideas, amazing ways to theme things in there. And some of the projects are incredible. Lots of projects there with Sale Yarn, Epic Sale Yarn, which has been so good to see, because it means that if you bought some of those yarns and you're yet to knit them up, you get a good idea of what other people are doing, what they look like, and they look brilliant. So do make sure you keep that up. Again, that's all happening over at Skeins Speakeasy. And I popped the randomizer over the thread today, and we came up with a winner. And so a big congratulations goes out to Sam Niven from the Waikato. She has been our winner, the first randomly drawn winner. And look at that. Oh, isn't that little pattern the cutest thing you've ever seen? Where is he? Oh, there we are. There he is. Look, isn't he gorgeous? My little son, my oldest boy, looked like that. Red curly hair when he was a little fella. He's a big boy now with red curly hair. Sam, you've got that pattern plus vintage yarns to complete that pattern coming out to you. So if you hear this, I have PM'd you if you could just confirm your delivery details, and I'll get that out on the courier. So congratulations for that. It's a great prize. I've got other prizes coming. I've got another one sitting down in my little magical box of tricks, which is right down here, which is an orb prize pack, which will be the next one to go out. And then I've also got, I'm going to make up a whole bunch of these beautiful little Evie prize packs, which will be yarn and pattern for the Evie pattern from Just Jussie, which we've got as well. So do keep posting those projects up to the Speakeasy, because every single post goes into the draw to win any of those prize packs. So make sure you do that. Right, lots of things to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about some yarn, and we're going to talk about some back in stocks. First thing is the Polworth DK. All the Polworth colours are now finally back in stock. So if you've been missing those, they are definitely back. Our Polworth DK is absolutely beautiful, rich, buttery, lovely yarn. You're knitting, it's a cousin to Merino. So if you're knitting with this, it is lovely and soft, beautiful stitch definition, 4-folded yarn. And if you're wanting something that is really quite special, it is a gorgeous yarn to have, perfect for people with sensitive skins. Unfortunately, there has been a price increase which happened earlier in the year on that yarn. Couldn't avoid it. The price of fine wool has gone up quite dramatically. So, but it is still incredible value, and that is now all in stock. Which brings me to, actually, did you catch the rural delivery piece on TV1 on Saturday, which Skeins was part of? We were the last story on that half-hour show. If you didn't, do check it out. I mean, Brendan and Peter were both featured. They did a fantastic job, and there was some really good coverage there that actually showed you the process behind the mill. So we're situated here at the mill, that literally, as I speak, the machines, I had to wait to do these videos when a certain machine isn't running, because you can hear it coming through the floorboard, so it's not going at the moment. It's right below our feet here, so do check that out. It's only about 8 to 10 minutes long, and it gives you a really good indication of who we are, what we do, and what we do here at the mill. And it's not just retail with skeins, but also our contract yarns and other things that we do. So that is on TVNZ On Demand, if you've got the TVNZ On Demand app, or through your Freeview, or again, I can post a link up for you and you can have a look at that. So that was on Rural Delivery TV1. Do apologise if you live outside of New Zealand. I don't know what geo restrictions may do. You may not be able to see it, but we'll see how we go. So that's that. On the thing too of yarns coming back in stock, Chatswood. I know lots of you have been looking for Sheffield and Chatswood, which is beautiful grey. We've got 8 kilos of that base yarn left, and that is going to be going into Chatswood. So that order went through today, so hopefully that'll be coming through in the next few weeks. And the best news is the guys went round and had another look at what we had in terms of recycled stocks, and they are going to be able to produce another Chatswood blend as close to the original blend that we've got in terms of grey, blended greys and whites and so forth. So Chatswood Part 2 will be coming later on in the year, so you won't miss out on that. So that has been, it's such a beautiful yarn, and it's so wonderful seeing all those projects. And at $3.95 for the value, the quality, it is just amazeballs. So that more of that will be coming in the year. So that is such a good doer if you're needing a really good quality DK yarn, New Zealand made, New Zealand fibre. That's great value. So there's more of that coming in the year, which then brings me to another yarn that was in the sale, but I feel a bit awful because I hadn't really talked about it a lot, and part of that is because it arrived, it's another recycled yarn actually, and it arrived at the end of the season last year, and I've taken it to a few shows and it's gone really well, and you forget about ones that arrive later in the year, and that is Moody Hues. And because the weather has been a bit inclement and a bit cold, Moody Hues is perfect because it is a possum blended yarn. And as many of you know, possum is a very, very light fibre. It is harvested from possums that have been culled through the pest eradication process. So these animals have not been killed for their fur. They're actually killed as part of the pest eradication process, and then we fur dealers basically strip them of their fur and sell them to us. And there's only literally 2 of them in the country that do this, so it is all very humane. So these are just some of the colours there. Ooh, there we go. Beautiful earthy colours. Again, this is a 4-fold twist DK. We do this quite deliberately. So if any of you know about yarn construction, I did see actually, there's a really good blog that got popped up about ply. I know Holland Road shared it the other day. And when I'm talking, so when I talk about a yarn and I talk about a fold, it's what some people know as a ply. But the problem is that ply is often used to denote the thickness of a yarn, whereas actually a ply is how it's, if you're a spinner, you'll know this like a hand spinner, is the number of thinner strands that get twisted together to make a thicker strand. So this is our Moody Hues there. I've just unravelled it. Anyone that knows me knows I spent half my life doing this. So there you go. So as you can see, there's 4 folds in there. This particular construction, this 4-fold construction, is near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love it. I think for DK yarns, particularly finer micron or finer fibre DK yarns, this is the way to go. And the reason for that is that you've got a single ply that's been twisted and then twisted again with 3 others. And what it does is it helps lock those fibres in and hold them together. Because the reality of it is that unless something is spun incredibly firmly, like a high twist silk yarn, or it's quite a coarse fibre, a coarse micron yarn, what essentially you're going to get is pilling. Pilling is a natural part of hand knitted garments, and the finer, the softer the fibre is, the more likely it is to pill. So unfortunately, possum yarns often, because they're blended with fine merino, do have a little bit of a tendency to be slightly sheddy, pilly. So what we do is we make these nice 4-fold yarns from them to help lock those fibres in. So that's what we've done with Moody Hues. We also do it with our Luminaire DK as well, exactly the same spin count to help hold those nice fine fibres in. However, the beautiful thing, because we're a worsted spin process, and when we make possum, and if you watch the video, it explains that, it means that when you knit it, the possum fibres will actually come out. So you will see, and I think this lighter one, you don't really see what we call a lot of visual possum there, okay? But look at this. Once it has been knitted, and my not high definition camera, but you can see there's a slight halo there on that yarn. There you go. You can see it right there on the top. You can see that fuzz. That is the possum. As the project has been knitted, it has come out. Now we've had this project knitted in at the shop. That's it there. It doesn't look like too much until you start popping it on. And it's called the Touring Cape. And part of the reason it's called the Touring Cape is because of all the different ways you can wear it. So you could grab a nice pin, and I'm going to sort of stand up and sit back a little bit, as you can see there. Oopsie. Bit cockeyed. There you go. So you can wear it that way as a little over the shoulder. Or you could flip it round. There we go. And you could pin it here and have it, oopsie, have it more like a poncho. Or you could just whack it round and wear it more like a wrap and a scarf. So it is a really versatile wardrobe staple. Really nice textured stitch definition panel there, which really, really brings out and highlights the possum, with a simple stocking stitch band which gives it some contrast. So that is called the Touring Cape. It's on Ravelry. It's by Margaret Craig. It is a paid pattern, but I have to say it would really do a good job. Now I haven't actually, I should have looked up the quantities. I think from memory the stocking stitch panel was, I think, 2 balls, and this panel down here I think was 5. But the metrages are all on there, and it's a really, really lovely project. And at this time of year, which is a bit, I don't know what it's like at your place, but certainly here, first thing in the morning, it's a, ooh, no, you need to throw something around the shoulders, it's a bit chilly. But come now, whilst it's still gloomy here, we've got about 21, 22 degrees. So it's about finding, you know, some layers, things that you can layer. Those Miss Janes you knitted at the Little Long are perfect for that, but so are these simple capes. So I will pop a link for this in the comments, so don't panic. You don't have to write it down if you don't need to, but that is a really, really good one. Moody Hues Possum Yarn, $8.95 a ball. And we've kept the price down on that because, again, it's a recycled fibre blend, predominantly merino, 15% possum, and a few other little special things in there as well, just to make it extra lush and extra soft. So that's those. Right, the next thing I'm going to talk about, so many things to talk about. There's a couple of things that we've just had arrive actually this morning that have been on. One has we haven't had for a long time, and it's so great to get it back actually, and the other is something very brand new. The first thing is this little guy here. There we go. It's called Knitting for Preems. This was a wee book that was published by the Wellington Neonatal Trust a few years back. We stocked these, and they were really, really well received as a fundraiser. And then they had a few errata in there, which, let's face it, when you've got a pattern collection, there is often a number of errata, which we now have. We've got copies of those errata. So I've spoken to the trust, and what we're doing is I've said to the trust, you know, they held on to these books and done nothing more with them. And I contacted them about getting some more, because we do get people asking about patterns for preemies or just very small birth weight babies, so babies that are generally sub £7 and or £7, what's that in the old money, about oh, I don't know, in the kilo money, whatever it is in the kilo money, but littler ones. And a lot of the standard patterns will quite often be for babies a wee bit bigger, but you know, particularly this time of year, you want something smaller for those little wee babes. So what we're doing is we've decided to help them out and help us out. We've got these. We're selling them basically for $5 a book. There's over a dozen patterns in here. And all of those proceeds, all of that money is being converted to yarn and going straight back to the Wellington Neonatal Trust. I mean, look at that. So cute. All these projects, I read about that one too. Look at that. So sweet. So all these projects are done in 2, 3 or 4 ply. Perfect if you've got some sale yarns lurking around. Most of them, like for a cardigan or a set, only take 1 ball. So single ball projects. So this book is it's called Knitting for Prems. I've gone and put it. It is under, we have a thing under books, but I've also, if you put it in the search tab on the website, you'll find it. But I will again put a link up for this. And I've gone and stuck it in lots of the baby and full play categories as well, yarn categories, so you can find it. But this little bloke here it's just a really good one to have in the in your stash or with your stash. So when you need to whip something up really quick, you've got a variety. And these hats and these little boots and cardigans and like rib singlets. How many times have you been asked for those little rib singlets? What else have we got in here? Lots of those neat little beanies, actually. There's heaps. So $5 a copy. They will be up on the website. They're live now, so you can go and jump in and check those out. Last on the book front, I know it's booksellers, us booksellers, but there you go. I've been waiting for this. I'm so excited about this. And you may, and many of you who are on the Speakeasy will be aware of this because the author has, I've said to her, fill your boots, you need to tell people about this as much as you can already because we had to wait to get stock. And that is Granny McFlitter, the Champion Knitter. This is the most fantastic children's book I have read in ages. It's absolutely fabulous. Written by the lovely Heather Haycock, who I've now spoken to a few times. She's utterly delightful. And illustrated by Lael Chisholm, and I hope I pronounced that right. And she, from what I understand, was only 19 when she illustrated this book, and she has won a prize for it. This prize here is for her illustrations, and the illustrations are utterly, and I'm going to find some, utterly mesmerizing. The story is beautiful, really beautiful story. And why are you saying, well, I mean, other than the fact that it's a children's story about knitting, look at those. Isn't it just, oh, there we go, gorgeous. But part of the inspiration from this book came from the Rena grounding and the knitted penguin jumpers, which was my first foray into accidental viral media marketing. Yes, the things I didn't know about social media then that I do know about now. And she's gone and written this wonderful, wonderful story. And if you have got little people in your life, or you've got people looking for a gift for a school-age child or preschooler, and you want a uniquely New Zealand story and a uniquely knitted story, this is just fabulous. I literally got the last 30 copies from the publisher, and they are taking it to reprint. So it has just been a huge success, and I am so thrilled for Heather because it's a wonderful story. So we have that on our website for the standard retail, $19.95, but it is available at many, many good booksellers, and do make sure you check that out and get that. But we have got copies of that. If you're looking for a gift, the other thing I can strongly suggest is we also have the penguin mascots, which we still sell. We do still have these, and we do steadily sell these for people. But these two, look at that, make a fantastic gift. So these are the actual jumpers that were knitted, and again, the proceeds from the profits from these go back towards penguin research. And lately we have been doing actually awareness campaigns with the National Aquarium of New Zealand, and there is signage and a whole bunch of bits of education resources that that funding has been going towards. So we are still helping the penguins all these years later. So do definitely check that out. Again, I will pop the link up for both the books in the comments. Last but not least, New yarn, I mentioned yarns that were coming back, but we've also got plenty of yarns coming out. In fact, a lot of yarn will be coming out over the next 6 months. Product development has been pretty busy, and one of the yarns that we've been working on for a long time and finally has come to fruition is just waiting to be balled downstairs. And over the weekend I did a little bit of fiddling around, because the colours, it's really, when you do what we do here, which is you create these yarns and you've got to create colour ranges, and so often you don't know. You try and pick a story of colour that you know will work together and be able to be translated for people to do stories. Peter's just walked in. Translate to do stories for what they want to knit and what they want to do later on. And this yarn is one that we have been playing around with, and it's like, how do we find some colours that we know are going to work together? What are people going to knit with it? How are they going to knit it? And I'm really thrilled with these colours. We actually developed 3 of the colours specifically for this range, because I just couldn't quite find the right shade, as it were. So I got out, if you've been looking on the Instagram, and I think I may have even posted some up at Skeins, the Skeins page, I literally got my trusty wool winder out. Hung it over the back of trolleys and started literally winding cakes from the box in order to do some swatching, playing around. So just to prove to you that I do actually swatch things, look at that. Okay, so that's me playing around with these colours for a pattern which will be coming out will be coming out if I can get it finished in time. I'm putting a deadline on myself. I should be okay. It's been quite good, but here they are here. So just look at those. Now these aren't all the colours, by the way. This is half the range. So there is still a beautiful dark, very dark charcoaly grey, plus a white, a really lovely sort of a soft red rose colour. What else is there? There is also one of the other colours. There was one other colour. Oh, my little thing's gone off the board. Gorgeous, beautiful. Now, what this is, I talked about it before, full fold yarn. This is another full fold DK, 100% machine washable merino. Stone the crows, we've finally done it. Because as many of you know, that is actually one thing we've not had in our core range for ever, actually. I think we've had a few DK merinos come and go, but never a machine washable full DK, full fold merino and standard range. It is coming. Absolutely coming. Can't wait. Really excited. So literally downstairs waiting to be bored, just waiting for the labels to arrive. But I mean, look at that. Just beautiful. It has been, it's just gorgeous to knit with. In case you're wondering, this is actually a 5mm needle. It is a DK, but the pattern that I'm doing is better suited to a slightly looser gauge, so that's the reason for that. And this is why one swatches, people, you see. And just so you know, that the top half here, I'm just going to put this up to the camera, that top half there is actually, this is all done on 4mm here. So as you can see, a really beautiful smooth fabric. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be called Albertine, and it will be out, I'm hoping, I'm working really, really, really hard to have that out and launched in time for the Creative Fibre Festival in Gisborne, which is going to be in the first weekend of May. So that is the aim, is to get that out and ready for that. If it happens to come in almost in its entirety, the white is the only colour yet to be dyed. It may come out sooner, but definitely the deadline I've given the team is that weekend, first weekend in May, so we can launch that at Creative Fibre Festival, which I'm looking forward to. So that is that. So there's, as you can see, lots and lots and lots and lots going on. So as I mentioned before, I will pop these links in. So there's Speakeasy. If you've not joined yet, you must join the Speakeasy. All conversations go on over there, and it's also the great place where you can see how our yarns knit up, talk to people, ask questions. The community there is amazing, and they're really, really supportive, and they do it so much better than I do. And I'm not always around to be able to answer your questions, so do definitely join that. And prizes, if you can do a project, something beginning with C, and it doesn't matter, leave that to your interpretation. That's running this month, and we will be giving out more prizes as the month and the weeks roll on. Then there's those books. As I said, I'll put the links up for the books. The Knitting for Prems is $5. Granny McFlitter is $19.95, and also to the penguins. Oh, I didn't say the penguin mascots are $25, by the way, and we've got 3 to choose from. This is Peggy. We have Flip, who is a smoother plush. He's our original guy, and then we also have Gloria, and she's a yellow-eyed penguin. So if one does not want a blue-eyed penguin and they want a yellow-eyed, we have Gloria, and she is available as well, all with their own hand-knitted jumpers. So stay warm, survive the holidays. I know it's only day one, but trust me, it will be fine, and get something cast on. We want to see what you're knitting. Make sure you join them, and make sure you share it with us. Until then, stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, and knit on.